Lamar Jackson improved to 2-0 as a starter last week, adding 71 rushing yards to the 119 he had in Week 11. Overall, Jackson has rushed for 190 yards in his first two career starts, the most by any quarterback in the Super Bowl era. So let's talk a little Ravens-Falcons. He's on the road in Atlanta today. He's proven he could win for him without Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco officially listed as doubtful in this game. But, Matt, I just want to know what you're seeing from Lamar Jackson after 2 games of watching him start.
Well, I see what we saw in college. He's a guy with a great arm, but he's not yet a great passer. He's very electric with the football. He can do a lot of things, but the decision-making isn't consistent enough in my mind. It'll get there. I just don't think it's there yet. Is it enough to win? Maybe. This is a simple snag, flat, 1, 2, 3 progression read. There's 2nd and 4. There's number 1. He's wide open. Throw it to him. There's number 2. It's open enough because he's going to fall away, but fine, if you don't like it, go to number 3. Number 3 is definitely the guy. But instead, on 2nd and 4, instead of a first down, you're going to try to outrun everybody. This is not college football. Now it's 3rd and long. Look at this. 6 defenders inside the numbers. This ball is clear as day. Go outside to that comeback, that stealing. Instead, you force it inside, turnovers. Halfway through the 3rd quarter, he was 12 for 22 with 2 interceptions. Luckily, his defense scored and special teams scored. But there's some awesome stuff with him as a passer. This is a go route on 3rd and 7. You cannot do it any better than that. That is what you're hoping to get more of. This is a 74-yard completion and a vertical package off of play action, the longest play from scrimmage for the Baltimore Ravens this year. So there's enough of this great stuff that you see. It's the future. It's what the future looks like for Lamar Jackson at quarterback. But there's still a learning curve here, and I think they're bringing him along slowly. 2 weeks ago, they ran the ball 11 times in their first 11 plays. In that game, to get him back on track, it was in the 3rd quarter. They had a long drive, and they threw the ball 1 time on that drive. So the running game is certainly a way to help him, and good defense, but it's a work in progress.
Do you think they'll kind of loosen the reins a little bit today against the Falcons, a team that gives, the completion percentages for quarterbacks against the Falcons are off the charts. Do you think they'll let him throw more?
I expect him to get better each and every week, but I think they're going to give the illusion that they're, giving him the keys to the car. And I think that's what they did last week. They gave the illusion. Some of these passes were screens. They were very basic plays. And he's actually very, very good at throwing the ball downfield on deep shots.
Yeah, very, very inconsistent. Your tape showed with him, making his reads and getting the ball to the open receiver. And I think for him, he's kind of playing the NFL game like the college game. I mean, this is the way he played in college. He was a playmaker on the field. And he's not throwing the ball very well right now. We understand. His completion percentage is 61%. But guess who else's completion percentage was 61%? Joe Flacco. The thing about Lamar Jackson is, he may not be a complete passer right now, but what he doesn't give you passing, he gives it to you running. 37 rushes for 190 yards. So this is a guy who's able to go out there and make plays with his legs and his feet as opposed to his arms, so he can get by until he becomes a better quarterback. And I think today against the Falcons, Coach, you talk about teams running one defense and being very simplistic. Well, this is going to be a very simple, simplistic defense for Lamar Jackson. So I think if there's a game where you can open up the passing game for him and allow him to make some throws downfield, more throws downfield, this would be the game. But he's going to beat you with his legs.
Regardless of what this young man does in Atlanta with his arm or with his feet, going into Atlanta, beating a Matt Ryan-led offense on the road, man, if he's able to win today, to me it's just securing his spot. Joe Flacco can grab the clipboard or whatnot. But I think that the biggest thing that stands out to me about Lamar Jackson is how he brings the energy, electrifying the team when he's able to make plays with his feet. Yes, Matt, what you said, he's going to be growing right before our eyes as far as him being the passer that we're looking for. But I think that the energy level, Coach, that he brings to that team is definitely something to see.
Randy, 100% agree with you on that. They're a better team with this young man at quarterback. And that's obvious the way they played. Yeah, they got, their last 2 weeks, they both wins. They're a much better team because they run the football, they extend drives. That keeps that defense fresh. And by the way, this is the #1 defense in the National Football League and #1 scoring defense. So you play to that. How do you play to it? You run the football. This is a guy right here, makes you defend 11 on 11 against them. That's why I think they're a much better team with him at quarterback. if you're Dan Quinn and the Atlanta Falcons, you better find a way to come after this guy to get him off the field somehow. And that's you've got to be able to stop the run, number one, and you got to prevent the big plays with him scrambling and things like that. So how you do it, I think he's got to mix in a ton of blitzes. They get Deion Jones back, thank goodness, because they can't stop anybody without him. And now you're going to sit back and any time you clutter it up, never present a standard four-man rush. Always twist, move, things like that to get him off his spot and you know, to make it any young quarterback, whether it's a running quarterback or not, you try to put a cloudy front in front of them, and that's what Dan Quinn needs to do. However, the Atlanta Falcons don't do that traditionally on defense, so we'll see what happens today.
Too, sometimes with the pass rusher, they don't even really rush the passer. Like it used to happen all the time with Mike Vick. I can't lose outside contain. And that's also the thing that plays into your pass rush isn't going to be what it normally is.
And, Matt, we always talk about it. The guy's going to take the bait. Anytime you have a quarterback with movement skills, they're going to take the bait, whether it's, whether it's Mitch Trubisky, whether it's Lamar Jackson, whoever the heck it is, even a guy that's played years and years, Aaron Rodgers. You present a certain look to him, then he's going to take it, but you know where to trap him at. So, to me, that's what I would do.
All right, I just need a one-word answer to clarify here. Does anybody think if Lamar Jackson wins today in Atlanta that Joe Flacco gets his job back?
I'll say yes, because I think everyone else is a no.
Yeah, everybody else is a no.
The contrarian.
I'm saying there's a chance.
All right. Well, Eric Weddle and this Ravens defense have their work cut out for them today against Matt Ryan and this offense. But if they do get the victory, it will be extra sweet. Our Jack Collinsworth spent some time with Eric this last week. They'll debate that during this week.